What happens if all of Earth's water is poured onto the sun? Water is essential to life here on Earth. Oceans, rivers, lakes, and even the water we drink are vital to our survival. But what would happen if all of Earth's water was suddenly poured onto the sun? Let's dive into this strange scenario and break it down. First off, Earth holds about 1.332 billion cubic kilometers of water. That's a huge amount, but when compared to the size of the sun, it's just a drop in the ocean. The sun is about 1.4 million kilometers in diameter, and it holds around 99.86% of the mass in our entire solar system. So it's far bigger and far more massive than Earth's oceans could ever be. Now let's imagine somehow transporting all of Earth's water to the sun. If we were to gather every single drop of water, oceans, glaciers, rivers, lakes, groundwater, even the water in the air, and send it into space, the first thing we'd notice is that the sun's heat would immediately begin to vaporize the water. The surface temperature of the sun is around 5,500 degrees Celsius, 9,932 degrees Fahrenheit. So as the water neared the sun, it would begin to evaporate, turning into steam long before it even reached the sun's surface. In fact, it wouldn't even be able to make contact with the sun as a liquid. As the water is vaporized, the heat would break it down into its basic components, hydrogen and oxygen. These elements are already abundant in the sun, especially hydrogen, which makes up about 75% of its mass. So while the water would be turned into gas and dispersed into space, the sun wouldn't be significantly affected by this influx of hydrogen and oxygen. The steam, now spread out in space, would be swept away by the sun's solar wind. The solar wind is a stream of charged particles emitted from the sun, which constantly pushes material away. So the water vapor would be quickly carried off into space, leaving no lasting impact on the sun itself. But what about Earth? If we somehow lost all of our water, the consequences would be catastrophic. Water is essential for life, and without it, Earth would become a barren, lifeless rock. The oceans would disappear, the climate would become extreme, and all living organisms that rely on water would perish. Earth would no longer be the vibrant blue planet we know today. In fact, the disappearance of water would likely cause Earth's temperature to rise drastically. Without oceans to regulate the climate and absorb carbon dioxide, the planet would become much hotter. It's possible Earth could eventually turn into something similar to Venus, a scorching, dry world with extreme surface temperatures and thick, toxic clouds. So while the sun wouldn't even notice if we poured all of Earth's water onto it, Earth itself would be drastically changed. The water that supports life would be gone, and our planet would be a shadow of what it once was. The sun, on the other hand, would just continue burning as it always has, unaffected by the small amount of water that we send its way. In the grand scheme of things, the sun's power is far beyond anything we can comprehend. Earth's water, no matter how precious to us, is minuscule compared to the sun's energy. But it's this very water that makes Earth a unique and habitable world. So the next time you think about the sun and the vastness of space, remember how fragile our planet really is. It's not just the sun's energy we have to worry about. It's the preservation of the things that make Earth our home.